Now, speaking of trades, Ian, over the weekend, the Texans traded Jadeveon Clowney to the Seahawks. It shocked everybody, even though we knew that a trade was coming. How can you tell us about how that all went down?
Well, it started with the Miami Dolphins being interested in trading for Jadeveon Clowney, though he did not want to go there. Made it very clear he wasn't going to sign the franchise tag if he was going to be shipped to Miami. And then it was simply a matter for the Houston Texans of try to get Clowney in at some point, and he was expected to sit out games because, you know, he was certainly frustrated with his contract situation. The Texans really didn't want him to come in and play for them. Well, then it was just Houston looking around and saying, who are the best, real, interested suitors? Clowney had made it clear Seattle was one of the places he wanted to go. They had a need to bring in another edge rusher. All of a sudden, early in the morning, they ended up striking a deal, a third-round pick and a couple players. They send those to Houston. Houston sends Jadeveon Clowney, who does sign his franchise tag, was already in Seattle by that point, and now the Seahawks have a premier pass rusher once again in the same offseason where they traded away Frank Clark.
Guy who led the Texans in sacks over the last 3 years. He's entering his 6th season. He's got three Pro Bowls under his belt. A nice piece for Seattle's defense. We'll talk more about the Texans side here at the breakfast table. Ian, appreciate you. We'll talk to you throughout the morning on this kickoff Monday. Schrags, what's your reaction to that?
Reaction to Clowney is, okay, good riddance, like, let's move on. You know, obviously, we've got a team that's looking to win. You don't want to be here, you won't be here. The bigger move for the Texans was trading for Laremy Tunsil, who, to me, is one of the top 5 offensive tackles in the sport, and he's 25 years old. You look at what happened with Andrew Luck the last couple weeks, right? And we think about, okay, well, Luck, he's retiring at 29. Could that have been avoided? Could it have been avoided if you protected your franchise quarterback? And Deshaun Watson last year was sacked more than any other quarterback in the NFL. So when you shed yourself of Clowney, and yes, they had to pay half of his contract to the Seahawks to get rid of him. That's how low and depreciating an asset Clowney was this weekend. Then you bring in Tunsil, and everyone's crushing the Houston Texans. Yeah. Everyone's saying, what are they doing? They give up 2 first-round picks. They've now won a first-round pick in 2 of the next 3 years. Look at their offensive line the next few years, and look what they're protecting Deshaun Watson with. This is Laremy Tunsil, who like I said, believe is in that conversation, and they would not get one of those guys in the draft. Sharpling's 23, got him in the 2nd round. Nick Martin's 26. Central Henderson's been around the league, 27. Sure. Fulton, 27. Guys. And Titus Howard is another guy who they drafted in the 1st round who won't be starting but could be there. This is what you do. You protect your young quarterback while you can. I'm fine with the Texans' moves because so often in the league, teams don't go all in, and they just are mediocre. They're saying, we're protecting Deshaun Watson. There's urgency. Like, let's get our guy a left tackle, and Clowney, you're either with us or you're not. You're not. Get out of here.
For 2 first-rounders, that all that says to me, Nate, is all in. We're all in right now. Here's the window.
Now, even though we started to hear about the trade possibility and him being able to seek a trade, I still was surprised because I called the last preseason game, Rams versus the Texans. So I'm in Houston Friday morning. I do the show from there. And in between takes, I'm walking around the facility. I'm talking to the people within the PR department, the media department, and I'm asking questions. I'm curious. All right, so what's going on with Clowney? What are you guys hearing? Is he welcome back if he wants to come back? And everybody said, yeah, as soon as he wants to come back, we're good. He's amazing. He's done everything that he's needed to do. All the questions about his work ethic, that's overblown. He has been a tremendous professional inside this building. So I thought, you know what? There might be a chance. By the time I got on the plane Friday evening, I thought to myself, Jadeveon Clowney could end up as a Houston Texan. I even rented a Bill O'Brien while I was getting breakfast. And I wanted to hit him with a barrage of questions while he was pouring up his coffee, but I thought, nah, I'm not going to ruin it. So I decided to ask him about Will Fuller instead. But now, after the weekend, I realized he goes to Seattle. But to your point, you said good riddance. I'm not going to say those exact words, but sometimes it is better to move on than to be stuck in the same position. And that's what they were. They were stuck in a stalemate. Jadeveon didn't want to budge. The organization didn't want to budge. And with all that said, I'll finally end it by saying this. Now he's in the same situation where he's making X amount of dollars in a prove-it year, which means he's going to ball out for the Seattle Seahawks. So it's the best-case scenario for Jadeveon in Seattle.
I got to be honest, I spent the whole weekend, and, you know, there's very smart, insightful people who are breaking down the contract machinations and the financial minutia of contracts and saying that Bill O'Brien lost in this. I'm just looking at the football. And the Houston Texans are in a much better position to win a Super Bowl this year than they were a week ago. I don't know what's going to happen.
Why do you say that?
Now, because they got Laremy Tunsil, they got one of the best left tackles in the league. They got Kenny Stills, who's a good receiver, who's been healthy. Like, they're better this year. Maybe 3 years from now they won't, but everyone wants to just take the stick to Bill O'Brien. I agree. He made his team better this year, and maybe they'll win a Super Bowl. But we're all in a better place today, too. Because for 34 days,
34.
we have been tracking superstars who are not showing up and playing football. And we're lighting a candle for them today. We blowing out. What am I talking about? Come on with me, my friend.
It's your birthday.
I got a little spring in my step today because we used to have 6 superstar players who were gone. Mike Thomas from the Saints showed up. Yannick Ngakoue from the Jaguars showed up. And then we've been left with 4. Each of these gentlemen has a candle lit for them. Now, Trent Williams is the one guy in the group of friends who never says anything. Still silent on Twitter and Instagram. Told D'Angelo Hall 0 chance he'll be playing for the Redskins this year. Now, this guy, Zeke, the big guy in the room, his center, Travis Frederick, says we've got to try and prepare to do it without him. Tick-tock, kickoff in a matter of days. Melvin Gordon, always a lot to say. Now, Gordon has followed the Eagles, Niners, Falcons, and Raiders on Instagram. That's a new development. He's been tweeting a lot about Wisconsin football. And when the LaShawn McCoy to the Chiefs news came out, he tweeted, "All right, now bleep getting real." Melvin, always a lot to say, but we're bearing the lead because this gentleman, my friends, Jadeveon Clowney, is going to Seattle. I don't know if he owns the Temple of Dog album or likes Mudhoney, but we are going to blow this thing out for him. I am so happy. It's been 34 days. Ready? Come on, Jadeveon. Beautiful. Dust in the wind, and he's going to come over and join us, guys. It is now the missing 3. Jadeveon going to Jerry Cantrell and Macklemore and Green River. And you know what? Russell Dam Wilson is getting a hell of a player. He joins Mike and Yannick coming from the shelf to the table. Congratulations.
Yes, he gets to fill in a big hole left by Frank Clark. We love the Jadeveon Clowney candle blow outage.
Oh, good.
I got to ask you, though, before we hit the break here, Melvin Gordon following these Instagram accounts that you noticed and everybody's tweeting about, if you were a player in this situation and there was a cardboard cutout with you, wouldn't you just start following random people on Instagram?
Just to throw little things, yes.
Just to mess with
throw
people.
a lot of sups, a lot of DMs, absolutely. And apparently he's parched right now, if you know what I mean.
Talk more about Melvin Gordon in a little bit. We'll get Melvin Gordon some Gatorade, and we'll be right back with